What if gorillas had to face dinosaurs? Looking across the vast landscape of the world today, there are a few animals that no one wants to mess with. One would definitely be gorillas. However, if you go back 66 million years, we would be giving the answer of dinosaurs. Some were scarier than others. But what if we take our dominant gorillas of today? What if they had to face the dinosaurs? What would happen? Would gorillas still be those animals that no one wants to mess with? Dominant animals. It may not be King Kong versus Godzilla, but it's about as close as we can get. If we look across the planet today, there are several land animals that are the kind that just should not be messed with at all. To name a few, polar bears in the North Pole, brown bears across the Northern Hemisphere, jaguars of South America. Then you have tigers in Asia, lions in Africa, and wherever you see large crocodiles, most animals don't want to mess with them. But then we double back to Africa, because hold on, there's another large animal there. He isn't an apex predator, because he isn't a predator at all. He mainly lives off of fruits and plant matter. He is the gorilla, the largest ape in the world. He's big and terrifyingly strong, but unlike other big strong animals like lions and tigers and bears, he can move in a very different way. Lions and gorillas don't inhabit too many of the same areas. Maybe the lions are avoiding them. Gorillas do occasionally have run-ins with leopards and crocodiles, but those battles can go either way. Although leopards and crocodiles are very successful predators, they tend to leave the gorillas alone once they know what they're capable of. So, you have all these areas of the world with all these large animals that are not to be messed with. While the rest of the animal kingdom fights and hunts in utter chaos, these select few animals are kind of like kings, like bosses in a video game, knowing that they won't have to worry about the lesser animals. You could set a stage with any combination of these bosses: gorilla, brown bear, lion, tiger, crocodile, and it's an exciting thought. But these animals are all vying for the king of modern times. If any of them had to go face to face with the kings from millions of years ago, with the dinosaurs, they'd be toast, right? Maybe all the rest of them would, but the gorilla, he is unique from all the rest for several reasons. And because of that, he wouldn't just do better than the rest, he might fare very well against the dinosaurs. It might not be for a reason that you think. Gorillas. Gorillas are the largest apes on the planet and also the largest primates alive today. Gorillas are estimated to have first come about around 7 million years ago, and primates first came on the scene about 55 million years ago. So all primates missed dinosaurs by quite a lot of time, only showing up about 10 million years after the extinction of dinosaurs. Neither of the two ever knew about the existence of the other. But what if gorillas were somehow introduced to dinosaurs and had to face off against them? It would be an interesting sight. Gorillas are an interesting sight as it is, the biggest apes in the world by a long shot. These beasts stand 6 feet 5 inches sometimes, weighing close to 450 pounds. An extra 200 pounds more than your most fit, most athletic, strongest athlete you can think of at that same height. If you could teach a gorilla how to play football, he'd metaphorically destroy the game, and quite literally destroy any human being that tried to tackle him. These 450 pounds include some heft and some fat, but so much of it is muscle. Explosive muscle. A gorilla's arm has that fast twitch capability, delivering blows more deadly than Mike Tyson in his prime. A gorilla is more than 10 times as strong as a fit human being, and the force of which a gorilla can punch would shatter a human skull. Teach them football, teach them boxing. If you teach them any sport, they would dominate. Of course, they'd be facing a bunch of puny humans. We're a little more concerned with how they do against those big old reptiles from millions of years ago. For starters, gorillas can hold their own against the biggest reptiles of today. As we mentioned, crocodiles and gorillas do inhabit similar areas, and the crocodile is considered a predator of the gorilla. Not a common predator, but a predator nonetheless. But the difference between a gorilla and, say, a spider monkey is this. A crocodile may be a predator of a spider monkey. A spider monkey only has a couple choices: run away or get eaten. If you're a gorilla, sure, those two options are available to you. But there is also a third option: fight back, and in all likelihood, kill the crocodile in battle. Those fists won't only fracture human skulls. Even though a gorilla isn't a predator, and besides the occasional insects, eats no meat, he still has a devastating bite. When you think of strong bites, you think of animals that are carnivores, animals that hunt for their meals. Tigers, hyenas, grey wolves. We're going to let you in on a little secret. The tiger has a bite force of 1,050 psi, the hyena 1,100 psi, and the grey wolf 1,200 psi. They all sound deadly, but none of them even match up to the bite force of a gorilla, 1,300 psi. He outbites most predators and has one of the strongest bites in the entire animal kingdom. The next thing you're going to tell me is he's fast and agile too, right? Of course. Gorillas can hit speeds of up to 25 miles per hour, and though they can move amazingly on the ground, they can move even better in the trees, climbing and swinging around with incredible ease, gripping tree branches with those dexterous hands. This is where the gorilla separates himself from the other kings of the planet. Will you see a lion or a tiger swinging from tree branches like that? You will not. And though our feline predators are smart, are they as smart as a gorilla? Are they able to problem solve like a gorilla? No. Gorillas are close ancestors to humans. The way their brains work, it isn't so far off from us. They're some of the most intelligent animals in the world. As we've proven, they're incredibly strong, fast, agile. They could take over nearly any sport. But the sport we want to see them in is a fighting sport. It's hand-to-hand combat with dinosaurs. Can they take the title, or are they going to be KO'd in an early round? Meet the dinosaurs. Dinosaur is a pretty broad term which includes roughly 700 different species that have been discovered. So there are plenty of different dinosaurs to examine. One of the oldest known dinosaurs is Coelophysis. He was an 8 to 10 foot long dinosaur, bipedal, ground-dwelling, and a carnivore. We have a predator on our hands, one that is longer than a gorilla is tall, fast too, able to hit speeds of 25 miles per hour. So Coelophysis sees our gorilla, a strange, hairy creature he's never seen before, but he decides to chase him. The gorilla can hit the same speeds, but he won't be able to run for long. As Coelophysis closes in, teeth bared, a few things to note. One reminder, he is ground-dwelling. Our gorilla can easily swing up into the trees. 2, Coelophysis only weigh between 33 to 44 pounds. As our gorilla swings up into the tree, he can swing right back down and land on Coelophysis, crushing him with his body weight. Maybe the gorilla wouldn't have even run and just delivered a mighty punch. Wouldn't take more than one punch. A dinosaur that lived primarily in North America about 160 million years ago was Camptosaurus. He might weigh as little as 1,000 pounds, and he might weigh as much as 5,000 pounds. A gigantic beaked dinosaur about 16 feet long, who only ate plants, and he only ran about 16 miles per hour. So he and the gorilla would share a love of the same foods. Camptosaurus was territorial and aggressive. So is the gorilla. Camptosaurus charged inexperienced predators and also often stayed in large herds for protection. So the gorilla might make a few choices. 1, he may be fine, knowing he's faster. 2, he knows this animal cannot climb a tree, so he could just escape up some branches to safety. 3, he might once again use the trees as his advantage, a point of attack. Camptosaurus's body type wouldn't allow him to do much to a gorilla once closing in, but those mighty gorilla fists, sure, they might not do as much damage to the head of a Camptosaurus compared to that of a human's, but that punch will still hurt. A gorilla could deliver multiple blows with his hands in seconds, and his ferocious bite rivals that of modern-day predators. Those things are enough to drive the Camptosaurus away and win the battle for the gorilla. That is, if it was one of the 1,000-pound specimens, not so much with the 5,000-pounders. This is where a gorilla's intelligence would play an important factor. Lions and tigers have apex predator mentality. They're always in attack mode. A gorilla has emperor mentality. His brain tells him, go for the kill if you can be successful. Otherwise, avoidance and survival are just as important when it comes to continuing your reign as king. Of course, there was everyone's second favorite predator among the dinosaurs, raptors. They could be 7 feet long and up to 50 pounds. Deadly hunters. And yes, nothing for the gorilla to scoff at. And yes, their bipedal nature makes them more dangerous than crocodiles, but gorillas do already have that prerequisite experience in battling the much heavier crocodiles. Velociraptors could run 25 miles per hour, fast but not as fast as a leopard, another predator that gorillas have battled. So our gorilla would obviously need to be smart and not underestimate the raptor, but he has experience in avoiding and battling crocodiles, distant reptilian cousins, And he has experience making sure that the faster leopard doesn't kill him, using his size advantage as a massive advantage. Roll those skills together, and he could absolutely take on a raptor. His strength, his agility, his bite, put that all into consideration and he may scare a raptor off before the raptor can do much damage. Or he may end him before he has a chance to escape. There were many herbivore dinosaurs, which gorillas would likely not have a problem with. He may even learn to coexist with them. He'd want to make sure he had plenty of plants to himself, and he wouldn't want the Stegosaurus and the Brontosaurus to eat too much. But hey, what are you going to do with those massive beasts? Again, the gorilla has a better mentality than that of an apex predator because he is intelligent enough to realize to just leave those behemoths alone. And then, don't forget about everyone's #1 favorite dinosaur, the T-Rex. And in addition to T-Rex, there were several other similar gigantic predators, like Allosaurus. We know that a gorilla stands no chance against these carnivores that could be longer than 30 feet easily, but the gorilla is smart enough to know that too. A gorilla has never seen anything that big, but he has seen elephants, and he knows to leave them alone. He'd have no problem making that realization when he saw an animal even larger than an elephant. He'd quickly realize, much different from the elephant, the T-Rex would want to hunt and eat him. And here is where our gorilla truly excels past the other animal kings of the modern world. The polar bears, the tigers, the lions, the wolves. The gorilla is more than power and aggression. He is intelligent, and he knows when he is outmanned, and he has an escape plan. The trees. None of these other kingly animals of the modern world are going to be able to climb a tree, or if they can, they won't be able to do it with such ease. Good luck climbing a tree quickly enough and high enough to escape the massive stature and massive mouth of a T-Rex. Unless, of course, you are a gorilla. That is his specialty. Our gorilla would escape to the trees quickly. He would climb as high as he possibly could, and as long as those trees were taller than the T-Rex, the gorilla would live to fight another day. A gorilla could hold his own among many dinosaurs and take many of them down. He'd know which gigantic herbivores to leave alone, living in harmony with them, and carving out his own territory. And when it comes to the predators that are many times his size, well, he'd never beat them in a fight, but he's too smart to even try. Our gorilla would know who he had a good shot against, and he'd battle them effectively. And when his chances were lousy, he'd know there's no shame in running from a fight if it means saving your life.